Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be doing a stock analysis on Apple. Now, I expect everybody to know what Apple is. They make, of course, phones, watches, earbuds, and MacBooks, and computers, and so on and so forth. Now, the reason I like the Apple stock quite a lot is simply because of their place in the market in the Western world. Now, I personally live in Europe, and I know that everybody I know basically has an iPhone, and everybody I know buys MacBook computers for their free time. Personally, I just bought a new MacBook Pro yesterday with AirPods to it, and I know a lot of people who has Apple Watches. Now, why is this important? You might think because don't they just make computers like every other computer manufacturer in the world? And here I disagree because they have more of a cult following that once you first get a certain Apple product and you like it, you're gonna stay with it. Now, personally, for my stationary computer, I like Microsoft the best because that's just how it works. But for laptops, Apple's is by far the best. Best battery life, just the fastest, the sleekest, and it just looks the most professional. And now, I also like it at the moment because if we take a look at the stock, as you can see, it is down quite a lot from the peak of 260 back in December of 24, and now it fell all the way down to almost below 200 at one point. And currently we can see it's rebounding quite a bit. Oh, as you can see here for the day, it went up almost, for a couple days ago, went up almost $4 in one day. Now, I like it also because it looks like it's going to be forming a golden cross, but as you can see right now, there's still quite a big difference between the 200-day moving average and the 50-day. But I think it is actually going to form, and one of the reasons I think that is just because of the momentum it is moving upwards with at the moment is quite interesting to see it go this sharp. Now, there might be some problems with Apple in the future because, of course, they make some of their products outside of the United States, so they might be a bit screwed on the tariffs there, so their products in the United States might get a bit more expensive and they might lose some margin there. And there is some boycotting of American products in many places in Europe. If it's going to affect phones, probably, but it's going to be 0.001%. Now, but as I said, people buy it because they want to stick with it. So that's why I like them a lot. I just think that nobody is going to challenge Apple in the Western world on their products because computers, phones, and especially earpods and watches is just the best. Now, if you look at their earnings, as you can see here, they beat it most of the time, which is quite nice. And as you can see, the next earnings here is in 28 days. It is a bit lower than before, but that's fine. I guess they, of course, know what they're going to earn. Now, the dividends in this stock is quite poor, but then again, it is, some would call them a tech company. I would call them more of an industrial company because they make real products. Their main, they don't really make any money from their online products such as iMovie and stuff like that. They make all the money from real products, which the margins are quite a lot higher. And Apple has been for many years the most valuable company in the world. I think Microsoft has beaten them off the top notch, but they are in the top three definitely. Now, as you can see how much money they make, it is insane how much money they make. And their margins for a company, which I would call an industrial company, is extremely high. 33, 23%, I mean, and as you can see, 25, 25, 25, 20. It is insane that they have these margins still. And now, as you can see here in 24, we actually see it went down a bit on the over the year. I just think that this is because of inflation and people didn't really want to buy it when the inflation peaked and just want to see where it went. But then we see in Q1 and 25 it was actually quite much better. But then again, Q1, as you can see in 24, it has a tendency. I've seen this past. I can't show you anymore because it doesn't show, of course. But more often than not, they make quite nice gains in Q1 better than the other quarters. Now, if we take at some of the seasonals on this stock, as you can see, I'm just going to go back to, let's say, 2000. Most of the years it's positive. As you can see here, some of these are down here below 1, but most of the time they're positive. Some years we see a lot, actually quite a lot of years early, we did see quite nice gains. I'm just going to make this a bit smaller just so you can see it a bit better. As you can see here, many years we have quite nice gains. Basically every single year that we are gaining, except for 13 and 16, we are actually in the plus by quite a lot. So 20%, 29%, and of course, year over year when they gain these high percentages, it is just insane that it's going to keep increasing. And I personally think it's just a nice stock to have in your portfolio, just sitting. Of course, they pay out dividends. It's not that great dividends, but then again, with these gains, I wouldn't really think about it, also because Apple is a value stock, and as a value stock, it is down quite a bit, and I think it's gonna increase quite a lot over the years because they're just not gonna be knocked off the top. Now the technicals on this, as you can see for day, is a sell, even though it's positive, and for the month it is a strong buy, and for the moving average and the summary is buy. And as I said, even though we have a quite far between 200-day moving average and 50-day, it is still increasing quite nicely and quite short time, and that is one of the reasons why on the technicals it is a buy. Now the analyst rating on this is 250, 13% up from where it is at the moment. I think that's quite reasonable, to be honest. I don't see why it wouldn't do that. Of course, maybe some people don't want to buy it. That's perfectly fair, but I personally like it quite a lot. Now, of course, you do see a ton of analyst rating on this. 41 have made ratings on this because it is, as I said, one of the most valuable companies in the world and one of the most well known. But now, as you can see, most are strong buy, or hold. And of course, I'm just going to go back to show you the technicals, not the technicals, I mean the seasonals. And that's because, as you can see here, that's just because many years it increases quite nicely. So even though it might look expensive over time, if you had bought up, you would be in the profit by quite a lot. But now, then as you can see annually, their profits still increase, as you can see, quite nicely, and it looks like they're going to keep increasing. I also think it's because their product is quite expensive. If you ever bought an iPhone, an Apple Watch, or a MacBook, it's not the cheapest on the market, but it is one of the better products in the market. Now, if you did like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe.